Hi there, so my name is Rachel and I run Holistic Adventure. A Holistic Adventure is a energy healing incorporated business, but I also work with sound healing, and it's mostly helping people connect with themselves and their intuition. Now, the reason that I wanted to do this video, and it's an impromptu video because I have not felt like I could exist in this human space for about 4 to 5 weeks, maybe even longer. After the last new moon, so the new moon in February, I was really, really unwell. And I really struggled to come back from that one. I had to really listen to myself. And it's taken nearly 5 weeks for me to get any kind of energy back. But it feels like it's more of a global space. It's not just me going through my individual experience. Of course, higher consciousness, we're all connected. And the biggest change has been the Earth's resonance. So, Schumann Resonance is a huge reason to what's going on at the moment. The last couple of weeks, I've really felt like I'm matching to this energy. I'm really trying to work out what's going on, and I just kept feeling like I wasn't quite matching to the Earth's energy. And I intuitively would go out and, put my hand on the tree and really try and ground myself. And I was doing that like 2-3 times a day. And I just did not feel like I was matching up with what was happening. So the Schumann resonance is the Earth's electromagnetic oscillating frequencies. And these frequencies are generated by the electromagnetic changes within the Earth's core. And this, of course, then affects the Earth's surface and the sentient beings that live on it. So this same resonance has been the same for hundreds and thousands of years, but it's changing. Now, I wrote a blog post about this at least 2 years ago. I was going to try and find it. I'll put it up anyway with the YouTube video because I wrote about this a couple of years ago. It was starting to really change then, and we had a few really exponential situations where it felt really full on, and I'm sure that's why I wrote about it back then. But it's just really interesting how much transformation has changed so much within our vibrations that it's now becoming such a increasing things so quickly, and more people being drawn to know about Schumann resonance and what's actually happening. And that's really, really interesting as well. So Schumann resonance is an ancient sound, and it has been seen as the sound of Om, or sound here as the sound of Om, not seen. And I'm trying to see if I can find that post. Anyway, I'll look for it later. So Schumann resonance, is the natural frequency pulsation of 7.83 hertz. It is the frequency for brainwave that allows human beings to access their full brains and heart and consciousness. Now, we haven't been at that space for a long time. We have been living in a space of denial, ignorance, and some people still are. We've been living in a space of fogginess, scrambled mindset, and I feel like my last 4 or 5 weeks has been that. When I was younger, I think back now to memories of when I was younger, and it all feels very foggy. And that's how I felt the last 4 weeks. I kept saying, I feel like my head is scrambled. I don't feel whole. And with the resonance increasing, I feel like my energy structure is changing so much that I'm trying to shift with the earth as well. And I really do think that because globally we're shifting so much, that our whole resonances are trying to match up with each other, and that can be really hard. And we're still trying to live day-to-day life. We're still trying to work, to pay bills, to do those kind of things. And we're trying to match people's energy, match our own energy, keep ourselves in a space of keeping that vibration going so that we're not losing it, because it felt like I was losing it. So the two big changes for me individually, and what I have felt has been on a global space as well, and there's been a lot of people who have resonated. When I've put things up on Holistic Adventure Instagram, I'm noticing a lot of people are experiencing the same thing. And they're having a lot of that, like, I feel like I need to do this, but it's feeling really confusing. I'm not sure whether I'm meant to do that. Not feeling that real, grounded sense of I feel good in this space. Two reasons I've felt that's been. It's definitely been since the last full moon in February. So we had that full moon shift, and then we were going through a change of trying to work out, okay, what's happening, with this full moon, and what's happening with us, and, we're trying to work out where our space is and where we fit. We're trying to find our own personal soul path, all these kind of things. And we are experiencing this in a really quick space. So for those who are really tuning in with the earth, you will feel really terrible at times. And it's finding those around you who can remind you that everything's okay. Here we are. So I'm just looking up the full moon, 11th of February, and what it meant, so that we can just look back and go, okay, what happened then? So we had the lunar eclipse, and the 5-pointed star, celestial bodies in the sky formed a pentagram, and 4 of those formed a golden rectangle, and that was a huge celestial synchronicity of events of the divine and finding your true center, right? So, this is what it was. And I did write in the blog post about grounding yourself and anchoring yourself and setting your intention for the day, connecting to the astral world, and really trying to find that soul's purpose, guidance that is within us all. Releasing old patterns, wanting change for the better, allowing you to stand within your own power. It was a Leo full moon. So it was saying you'll be drawn to a specific area of your life, a reason that deep down you did not have the building blocks to get there, but now you're starting to have the universal energy push you into your own true self and soul's purpose. And it's time to really dig into your soul, and the best place is through meditation. So yeah, that happened. And then we had the new moon, which was also extremely pushy, I guess. And it was working on the same level as the previous full moon. So I've just got here in the blog post that it's important to keep your connection to a higher power. Relationships will start to show cracks. It's really important not to, blow an issue out the water. Just really sit back, find those old habits, the behaviors, the beliefs that you've been questioning. Maybe search for new techniques, coping skills, so that you consistently progress and upgrade your light body. We're becoming much more emotionally sensitive, with protection of self-healing and isolation when needed. Take your energy seriously, as we've never been more interconnected. Connect yourself to your dreams, and this, will be really important for your journey. Visions and premonitions and images are going to be flowing through a lot more. So I don't know for you, but that's been definitely happening for me. I've been having these dreams that are saying, I'm going back to these situations with people that I haven't, seen for years. And I feel like it's tying it all together to say, all right, this is what you went through. It's cool. Let's push that through. You don't need this anymore. All right, let's push that through. So I feel like I've had, 4 or 5 weeks of like what's felt quite painful. I've been very flat. I have been sick. I've been coming out of that. I looked after myself so much through that period because I just knew that I had to. I was very communicative about what was happening for me. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. And let myself sleep like crazy. I was only saying, a couple of days ago, like, this is driving me crazy. I can't get up in the morning. I can't get to sleep at night. This is not like me. And it's not anxiety that's keeping me up either. It's just energy. Like, I'm having that energy at night and then I just don't have anything in the morning and I'm depleted, basically. And last night, I had similar, couldn't get to sleep. But I did sit up and painted and did some more on my intuitive painting. And then, actually the night before that I did the full moon meditation. So it was the day after. It was the Monday night. And I did my own full moon meditation that I have live on Facebook. And when it came to the third eye chakra, I actually experienced death. When we die, DMT is released and we experience visions and experiences in our mind. And if you've seen Alex Gray's art, it's very much like Alex Gray's art. And I basically I heard someone say, it was a male voice, and it said something, I can't even remember, come on, or look at this, or something like that. It might come back to me, I'm not sure. And it was like a really Australian old kind of man accent. And it showed me this face. So I really paid attention then once I heard the voice, because I was in real meditation really early. And so I really paid attention and I saw this face and it was like a mask. And I've seen that when I've had DMT, I've actually seen that. So actually experienced that in this space and not in dream meditation space. Or not even dream space, but meditation space. So different consciousness awareness, because I was conscious at the time. And I saw this face and it was like a Mexican mask. And it was the exact same situation I've had when I've been conscious and had DMT experience. And then everything went to like a kaleidoscope. So the world is like a kaleidoscope. And I was told, not with a vocal voice, but in a intuitive voice, this is what happens when you die. And I was like, awesome, this is pretty cool. Can I move things around? And then the meditation pulled me out of that because it moved to the crown chakra to cleanse that. So I was pulled out of that and I was like, bummer, I was really enjoying that. But it was a really comforting space for me to go, oh wow, this is pretty incredible. So, we know that DMT is secreted once, we start to pass away and we start to go through those moments of final, experience of life and what we've seen. And, this has come out through accounts of people who have had near-death experiences, and this is exactly, what happens. And I experienced that. Now, I've experienced that before in ways of meditation. The book called The Pilgrimage has a death meditation, which you basically put yourself in a coffin in your meditation, or put yourself in however you see yourself dying, and you die, and you're able to experience what that's like. And it kind of pushes you to go, hey, it's not so bad. This actually doesn't feel like your mindset makes it feel, or what society makes it feel, or the limited beliefs make you feel in life. So it's really important to push through death and rebirth situation, which is what we're going through at the moment. So if you've looked at my blog post for this last new moon, hugely around death and rebirth and working out what's happening with our journeys so that we can really push ourselves through. So bringing back to Schumann Resonance, we're coming into this huge waking up of our minds, of our bodies, and healing. And the shift of energy last night was like, I went to sleep. I was having this weird anxiety actually around, I used to have like anxiety and panic attacks before sleep, like constantly, until I started breathing really deeply in my, just before I went to sleep and meditating. And last night I was really struggling to meditate, and I still had to calm myself down. So, you know, I just got myself into whatever space was good for me and breathed myself into a quiet space. Now, I do remember it was just a really weird energy, and like I kept hearing sounds, and my cat was going blah, blah, and like really funny. So, you know, I'm kind of awake, hearing what's happening there. It's probably 2 o'clock by the time I got to sleep this morning, 2 a.m., which is so unusual for me. I usually would, you know, have a really good sleep and get up quite early, but my whole sleeping pattern has shifted this last 4 or 5 weeks especially. And all I remember is at some point, and I did think at the time maybe I should check the time, and I didn't. I'm going to say it was about 3 o'clock, just by intuitive feeling. And I felt this change, and it was like that DMT rush again. And I saw it, and it was like a kaleidoscope, and I just felt this rush of energy coming into me. So I'd be really interested to know if anybody else felt that change last night, whether you feel better today, whether you're feeling like you can really, you know, power on. And this morning I woke up at like 7:30 when my daughter woke up. Now, she's been waking up at crazy times too, not sleeping well. Last night she slept just fine, woke up at 7:30. She's been waking up at 5 o'clock. So, you know, her whole space has shifted too. She was all ready to go, starting a new childcare, and she was like, let's do this thing. And I got up early and took her there, and there was no issue. So I'm not feeling flat. I wouldn't even be doing this video. This is how much energy I haven't had. I wouldn't even be doing a video because I've just had no energy for it. So in my last blog post for March, for the full moon on the 12th of March, I actually wrote about the Schumann Resonance and how it's increasing. And, you know, this is a scientific fact. When you're looking at documents about the Schumann Resonance, they're, you know, quoting NASA. They're putting you onto the space observing system. They're saying, hey, this is really happening. Our brain waves are changing with the Earth's vibration pattern. So I just love that that's happening, and I really want to hear if you felt this change as well. And I just thought it was really important to go through, okay, what's been happening the last month and a half? Because a lot of the time we're looking at what's going to happen, what's happening, what's the forecast? Are we looking back and saying, hey, what has happened before? Where were we a month ago, you know? And I think it's really important to work on those spaces of where was I a month ago, where am I now, and where am I going? So not just going, okay, where am I going and what's the forecast? I love forecasts. I love doing readings and looking at how people's spaces are changing for them. And, you know, that's something that I do for my work with Holistic Adventure. Also with the energy work that I do as well, either in person or over Skype or over the phone. You know, it's all global energy. I can work with anything in a space. But I think like looking at what's been happening for us is really important to say, okay, where have we been and where are we going? Because this is a spiritual journey for every single person individually, globally. We're all interconnected. So we need to look at where we've been and be really proud of that, so we can push through and go, okay, this is where I'm heading. You're not anywhere without acknowledging what's been happening for you. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Any more information, head to my website, www.holisticadventure.com.au. I'll put up a bit of a blog post on this. And Facebook, www.facebook.com/holistic adventure services. Instagram is at holistic adventure. Want to email me, contact@holisticadventure.com.au. And on my website you can find all my details if you want to come and have an energy healing session, sound healing session, work with me in intuitive creative workshops, or do any of the above through Skype and over the phone. Let me know. Hope that you have a fantastic day, and I hope the energy has changed for you. And if not, keep an eye out for the next couple of days. Meditate before you sleep. Just spend some time really quietening your space, and it will happen. And you'll be able to ground yourself to the Earth's vibration. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day.